Am I the asshole for requesting that my teacher not partner me with my deadbeat father's daughter? My father walked out on my mom when she was pregnant with me, 16 male. They were married for like 5 years at that point, but he was cheating a lot. Mom trying to divorce him went through hell because they'd picked up and moved. He never met me. He didn't show up at court for their divorce, or for custody, or for child support. He went to jail 3 times for failure to pay child support and for trying to avoid child support by quitting his jobs and not declaring his new place of employment. I still haven't even met him. But around a year ago he moved back with his family, the affair partner and their kids. He has a daughter 5 months younger than me, a son about a year and a half younger, and some other kids who are younger again, but I don't know their ages. I only know the older 2 ages because of school and sharing some classes with his daughter. She has tried to connect with me, but I told her I wasn't interested. We're not family. I don't want to know the affair family. Even though she was upset and cried a little in front of me, she didn't give up. And when we returned to our classes in August, she was suddenly in 4 of mine instead of 1 like last year. So I went to our teacher, who assigns a lot of group stuff, and asked her to never pair me with her. I explained the reason why and she was surprised but agreed that it would be for the best to avoid hostility during the project, and especially if others are working with us. Twice she has tried to claim me as a partner or make me a part of her group. The first time as her solo partner and the second time in a bigger group. Both times our teacher refused. This made her realize what I'd done. She told her parents, they went to the principal and demanded a meeting with me and my mom. Mom went but left me out of it and explained why to the principal and told him she didn't think the first time I meet my father should be when he wants to berate me for not working with his daughter. They tried to say I was bullying their daughter and I should be facing suspension or be forced to make it up to her through some kind of buddy program. The principal didn't take it seriously. But his daughter and son now stare at me a lot more in school the last couple of weeks, since the meeting, and a couple of her friends said I was such a dick for embarrassing her like that and not getting to know her. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Be polite, like extremely polite. No ma'am, I do not wish to engage in conversation with you. Have a wonderful day. Excuse me. Walk away. Polite. When they talk to you so you don't get accused of bullying, but no need to be friends. If your father wants you to have a relationship with his family, then he needs to have a relationship with you first. As far as they're staring and her friends telling you that you were a dick, that is bullying. Tell a trusted teacher about the incident. Say you just want to let them know it is happening. No need to interfere, it might blow over, but if they escalate then you have already noted to a teacher you were uncomfortable with them beforehand. Not the asshole. The girl's parents handled this horribly. It was her dad's job to explain why there is animosity and take the blame for the root issue. Not the asshole. You've never even met her dad, but now she wants to be all buddy-buddy with you because of your supposed connection, though him? No way. She's young, but she needs to learn boundaries and how to respect when people say no. Side note. NGL, I think I'd have loved to see the principal's face when your mom said, I don't think the first time my 16-year son meets his bio dad is cause bio dad has called him to the principal's office over a conflict with his other teen kid. Tears of joy. Not the asshole, but if you know where the loser is now, why isn't your mother pursuing the money she is owed? It's absurd to claim you're bullying someone when you've gone out of your way to make arrangements so you have no contact with her. Ignoring her is the complete opposite of bullying, and if anything, she's harassing you by constantly pushing the issue. You're definitely not the asshole. I feel you did the mature and appropriate thing by addressing this privately with your teacher, rather than make a scene in front of her or the whole class. Her inability to accept no as answer is her problem, and you are under no obligation to get to know her or accept her. Not the asshole. It's easy for the child with the perfect family to want to be the one to connect. I'm sorry you are going through this. Am I the asshole for not inviting my best friend's boyfriend to a 6-year clear of cancer meal? I 19 male suffered from cancer while I was only 12. I had a lot of people there for me, but the one who was there for me the most was my best friend, 19 female. She was by my side the whole time. Whenever I had to go to hospital for chemotherapy treatment, she was always there messaging me, making sure I was okay. When I arrived back in school, I had joined a drama club which was after school and lasted about an hour and a half. There was one guy in this club that I did not get along with at all. I'm gay and have knew for a while, and after a month of being back at school I had told my closest friends and they were all supportive. But like everything in high school, word got round to other students, and to be honest I didn't mind all too much. But this guy in the club found out and was extremely homophobic towards me, telling me I should leave the school because no one would want to talk to me anymore, and started bringing up hurtful stuff about my cancer I had not long beat, such as, it should have taken your life, and, it's a shame you beat it. Fast forwarding to now, we are celebrating 6 years of me being clear of it. We have a meal every year to celebrate. It usually consists of me, my family, my boyfriend 22 male who I've been with for almost 2 years, and my closest friends. My best friend started dating this guy 5 months and I found out a few weeks into their relationship it was the same guy who said all that hurtful stuff to me 6 years ago. I spoke to her about it and agreed to give him another chance as she seemed genuinely happy with him and had insisted he had changed. Me and him still don't get along but I don't interfere with their relationship as she is the happiest she has been for a while. She then asked a few days ago if he could come to the meal that I was holding for my 6 years clear. I was pretty hesitant and told her that as much as I'm happy for her being with someone she likes, he was awful to me in high school and I can't forgive him for what he was like. I also told her that he still doesn't like me as he has made that obvious about a month ago when he said something to another close friend of mine about me and my boyfriend. She is now calling me childish and started saying I should just forget about it. She also said if he doesn't come she isn't going to either. I don't know what to do and I don't know whether to forget everything and let him join in the meal or deny her request of him joining and deal with the consequences of her not joining either. So am I the asshole for not forgetting what he had done and denying my friend's request of him joining? Not the asshole. Personally, I would not even see that person as a friend. He said horrible things to you back then, continues to say shitty things about you, and your friend has the audacity to ask if he can join? Something he was sad to see happen, namely, you beating cancer? I hope you hear me when I say this. That is not your friend. You deserve better. You are not being childish. Keep your boundary firm. Not the asshole. This celebration is so personal for you, and it makes complete sense that you wouldn't want someone who was cruel to you during a vulnerable time be there, especially since he's shown he hasn't changed much. This event is about your recovery and the people who truly supported you, not a chance to make nice with someone who actively hurt you. Not the asshole. Your friend sounds dense. Of course you wouldn't want that guy there. Why would she even date him? I could see if he changed in those 6 years since he said those things, but he didn't. Not sure what kind of friend she is. Wow. Not the asshole. Your dinner party is for surviving cancer and the bully wished you died from it. That alone would be enough reason not to invite him emo. However, it sounds like the boyfriend might be isolating your friend, because of the way she phrased it. If he can't come, I won't either. Is that coming from her, or won't he allow her to come if he's not present? Might be something to consider. Anyway, congratulations on your remission and go celebrate with the people who love and support you. No time for people who don't appreciate you for the amazing person you are. Not the asshole. One thing I've learned is that while people can change, the ones who are especially cruel rarely do. The fact that this guy was so hateful and cruel to you at a time he knew was especially difficult for you, and decides it's okay to talk shit about you and your boyfriend instead of being anything but apologetic tells me he's probably the same person he was. I'd say I feel bad for your friend too as she may not recognize him as being a cruel person, but given that she called you childish for not wanting to be around him tells me that she's just turning a blind eye to how he treats others, which is shitty. But even worse when that cruelty is directed at her friend. Not the asshole. Simply tell her, 6 years ago your boyfriend told me he wished the cancer killed me. While I accept his apology, I do not forget the words he said to me. So no, I do not want to celebrate with someone who wished death upon me for the very reason we are celebrating. Am I the asshole for laughing at my sister's relationship troubles? So, I, 28F, have a younger sister, Emily, 25F, who was with her high school sweetheart, Jake, since she was 14. They dated all through high school and college, and honestly, they were the epitome of a perfect couple. Jake was always so thoughtful. He'd surprise her with gifts, plan elaborate dates, and he literally lit up whenever she was around. They even talked about getting married. Fast forward to a few months ago, Emily cheated on Jake and broke up with him to be with her affair partner, Mark. Since then, she's been complaining to me about how Mark doesn't do any of the romantic things Jake used to do. Apparently, he doesn't surprise her with gifts, and their dates are pretty lackluster compared to what she had with Jake. Last week, while I was on the phone with her, she started venting about how she feels unsatisfied in her new relationship. I don't know what came over me, but I just burst out laughing. I mean, she cheated on the guy who literally worshipped the ground she walked on, and now she's complaining about the new guy not measuring up. It just sounded so absurd to me. Emily got really upset and told me I was being insensitive. I tried to explain that I wasn't laughing at her pain, but it felt like poetic justice given how she treated Jake. Now she's barely talking to me, and I'm starting to feel bad. Am I the asshole for laughing at my sister's relationship troubles when she cheated on someone who treated her like a queen? Not the asshole. She destroyed a near-perfect relationship to be with someone who barely cares. She brought this upon herself. It sounds like poetic justice to me too. Not the asshole. I'm also laughing at your story about your sister. Her karma for cheating on Jake came so fast, haha. Not the asshole. She chose where to be. She chose to cheat. She chose her actions. You simply found humor in a dark scenario. She gets to decide how to act in her relationships and whether to whine about not being with Jake when she treated him she did. Not your fault. Hers. Not the asshole. Womp womp. Justified asshole. Was it nice to laugh at her? No. Did she deserve it? Yeah. She thought the grass was greener on the other side and karma has come around in a small dose. Call me too woke, but if my sister was a cheater, for no reason, I would constantly bring it up whenever she complained. Mark doesn't bring me gifts, it's so frustrating. Sucks that you cheated on the guy who did, huh? Mark doesn't understand me, I have to constantly remind him of what I like. Well, that funny, cuz you did have a guy understood you, but well, you chose to fuck that up. Edit. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for asking my boyfriend to quit his sport? Update. Are people not seeing where I asked him to stop playing? He can coach, mentor, watch, etc. That is okay. It's the overwhelming amount of injuries, money spent, and then screaming at me that I'm the reason he's broke, that made me ask him to stop playing. I, 23 female, have been with my boyfriend, 28 male, for about 2 years. He has played rugby for the entirety of our relationship and started about a year before we met. Rugby is the third person in our relationship, so I asked him to stop playing. Was I wrong? Every Saturday is rugby day, where he wakes up, watches a game, plays a game with his team, and then watches another game after, usually followed up by highlight reels on YouTube, until he goes to bed. He has a 2-hour practice every Tuesday and Thursday. He coaches a high school team. He assistant coaches a college team. After every game, practice, scrimmage, etc. he comes home with some sort of injury or is just in general debilitated by pain. Covered in bruises and cuts. He has been to the hospital for a separated shoulder, a split open eyebrow, a split open lip that went all the way through his muscle and fat, and the most recent was he got a bunch of turf beads in his eyelid and was almost blinded, not exaggerating, by it. He will take off work for games and practices, he will cancel dates for games and practices, he will miss important events for games and practices. My family home caught on fire, we had a fundraiser, he tried to skip it for a game, the game got cancelled, so that's why he showed up. We were out to my birthday dinner and he asked if we could rush it so that he could make his practice after. We can't go out and do anything on a rugby day, we can't have sex on a rugby day, he can't function on a rugby day. And his excuse is, it's tough on rugby days. Well, his Saturday is a rugby day has turned into every day is a rugby day. He gets stressed out financially because where we live is extremely expensive. But he has money for new cleats, new studs for his cleats when they break off, tape for his joints for games, team memorabilia. Basically, he has money for rugby like an addict has money for his fix. I want to say I'm glad he has something he enjoys. I'm glad he coaches and that his students look up to him and that it makes him feel good about himself. We've both met some incredible people through the rugby community. But the phone calls at 1 a.m. that he's in the hospital due to an injury, getting yelled at because he's broke, having to cater to him whenever he plays because he's sore, consoling him when he's bawling his eyes out because he lost a starting position and having to eat, sleep and breathe rugby because he does, it was too much. He freaked when I asked him to leave. Told me I don't appreciate the things he cares about, said I should be thankful he has rugby or else he would be dead. That he has nothing else. I feel horrible. Am I the asshole? What's the question behind the question? I think it's really, should I stay in this relationship? I think the answer is no, for me this would be a deal breaker. His partner will always come second to rugby. It seems like he has it all backwards. He's in a serious relationship with rugby while you're just a hobby. Adding my judgment. Not the asshole. What I'm reading is that he's deeply and truly passionate about rugby. IDK how to rule on this exactly. On the one hand, if you're asking and not demanding, there's merit to that. On the other, it's obviously important to him. Similarly, if you're concerned with his well-being, I fully get that. And in the same breath, you also sound like you're a bit jealous that rugby is so important to him. I love animals. I've worked with some potentially dangerous dogs. Think rescued fighting dogs. I've never been hurt, but it's not impossible. If someone asked me to give it up, I'd be absolutely crushed and honestly, probably more keen to give them up than my passion. Woman shrugging. I was prepared for you to be an asshole, but this is 100% not the asshole. He doesn't have a sense of balance between you and the sporting community and his priorities are out of whack. Not to mention, he doesn't sound like a safe player. I have played very high-level rugby since I was 11, injuries do happen, including weird rogue ones. But to be on a constant rotation of high-level injury means that he doesn't know how to properly make or take tackles and is playing like a man on a mission to get hurt. Those people are scary and those people are ones that shouldn't be on the pitch. Said I should be thankful he has rugby or else he would be dead. That is an extremely concerning statement. What does he mean by that? Getting yelled at because he's broke. This is also very, very bad. I'm concerned that he's addicted to this for some reason, or masking some deep mental health issues with it. It's great to be passionate about something, but to say he would die without it? That's not healthy. Screaming at you because he is broke is abusive. Not the asshole for asking him to stop. But, he's not going to stop. He puts rugby above literally everything else in his life, including his job and you. You cannot build a healthy relationship with someone like that. He needs mental health help and you need to leave him if he won't. The comments here are wild. They're so, boo-hoo evil woman stop man from having fun, it's pathetic. People are totally ignoring the fact that he's screaming you down for things that are his own fault, skipping work and siphoning funds despite money being tight, and intentionally neglecting family obligations in favor of his hobby. He shouldn't be screaming at you at all. He shouldn't be ditching you on your birthday or ignoring your family in crisis. Whether he likes your family or not, if he cared for you he would show up. He sounds like a terrible partner. He sounds manipulative, dismissive, and guilt-trippy. Rugby isn't the source of the problem, it's his attitude toward you. If he only loves rugby, then you should leave him and rugby to it. Not the asshole. Info. Did you know how involved rugby was in his life when you started dating? How long has he been playing? Your priorities are not aligned right now. While you're not an ass for asking, you can't be surprised when he declines to quit.